Murder style, y'all.
Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity? Ooh.
I need a break. I just got done watching An Angry Black Woman and Her Monster. This movie was fucking incredible. Oh my god. Angry Black Woman and Her Monster is a 2023 psychological science fiction horror film, and it's a damn good one, that has been written and directed by Bomanji J. Vicaria is a brilliant teenager who believes that death is a disease that can be cured. After the brutal and sudden murder of her brother, she embarks on a dangerous journey to bring him back to life. Oh, oh my god. This movie really blew me away. I mean, Final Fantasy 16 blew me away. I was mind blown of how great this movie is. Now, this was also produced by Shudder. Shudder is a hit and miss. They was doing great after a while, but now they just making movies out of a freaking candy machine. And I'm glad I came across this one. Not only am I really helping and promoting black films, but only black films with creativity. If it's black films that's ripped off from other franchises and it's not done in the creative tone, because Angry Black Woman and Her Monster can debatably be a rip-off film of certain horror films that we know and love today. But what made me love this film a lot is that it's based on new generation times of people's critical thinking and what they would do to bring back their loved ones. And it was done with perfection. And honestly, the movie really pushed me into my mindset of what I would do if I had the resources of Tony Stark. Instead of me making suits, can I use the same resources to bring back people? Some person actually told me I look like a black Tony Stark. Man can dream, can he? But going back to this film is a must watch. It is a must see. If you like horror, if you like suspense, and above all, if you like a heart-aching film of just you relating to the character and just literally pushing your mindset to see if this is something that you would do and how far would you go to accomplish it, even if it costs you more than you can afford, this movie will make you ask that question a lot. It will. The movie picks up at a fair pace, and it's not to the paces where it is slow. It picks up in a point where it actually shows you the eye sets of Vicaria as she loses her mom in the beginning of the film. As soon as the movie starts, she is literally hugging her mom, and she just gets shot in the park, in the head. And by her being traumatically, like, she begins to have PTSD, and she begins to have these certain traumatic moments of just seeing what happened to her mom as she's getting older. It affects her whole family, her father and her older brother. So swearing and hoping that this won't happen again, when she gets older, she loses her brother as well. Dies practically the same way as the mother did. And it not only has put her into a heartache gesture of her having these same moments of memory as she lost her mother, it also put her in embodiment of rage. It put her in a state where she begins to question life itself. How easily can it be taken away? And if it's taken away that easily, is there a way of you trying to bring it back to life? So by her doing studies, by her being a scientist, by her being a mad scientist in a way, she creates this tone of a visionized mindset of her thinking that death is not just a cause, it's a disease. And by her thinking that it is a disease, can this disease be cured? And if it can be cured, can she obtain the resources to cure it? It's basically like Frankenstein. She found the resources. She found the materials that she could do. All she had to do was test it. So she tested it, by using other bodies and try to use the same soul as a brother to bring him back to life. That's what made this film beautiful. Because by her doing this, it also shows me the relation of what I would do. I'm a smart guy, and I have done things that really questions people's logic about me. Like, wow, you did this? No one has ever done. But that's where creativity comes in. Creativity is you pulling off something that people cannot relate to, which can call you a genius. But if you do something like this, being a genius and being insane is very, very identical. But being insane means that you are literally in the verge of craziness, that you're going to risk everything, including the lives of others. So I'm still at that genius lane. But damn, this film really puts you in that state of you actually kind of want to relate to this character. Because by us being at a certain age, we can relate to the losses, not just by our loved ones, but just by people around us. And we really do wish that we can bring them back. And she wanted that to happen to her brother as well. And man, when she brings him back, things begin to be good for like 2 seconds. She is literally happy that she succeeded. She happy that this nigga is walking and literally saying like one little liners and stuff like that. But when shit happens, shit happens. But to be fair here, this wouldn't be a movie if things doesn't happen bad, right? So that's when we get introduced to the horror and thrilling aspect of this film. I was surprised of not just how much blood and gore that they showed in this film, but just how much chemistry that they show in this film of us being related to survival horror films and just demonic possession films when it comes to us believing in ghosts and demons. There's a few demonic possession scenes on this damn film, and even some scares on the film where it did feel like she was not alone with this guy that she was trying to take down, and her regretting that she created this monster in the first place. This film will let you get a lot of feels of Babadook, Candyman, and the Blair Witch, and a pinch of Paranormal Activity. The acting was great. The acting was phenomenal. Big kudos to Lea DeLeon Hayes as Vicaria. Her acting was believable. It made me get pulled into a character a lot, especially before she was beginning to try to recreate and reanimate her brother. There was times when she was going through some certain aspects in everyday life history, and it made me be into the character's shoes a lot when it comes to her being under pressure and people not relating to her expectations of her just thinking in a whole logical manner that people cannot relate to. I went through that a lot in school. I went that a lot in college. I am going through that a lot now when it comes to me publishing my books and just people seeing my own point of view of my own mindset. Leia, no one could have done what you did. And by this being a Shudder film, I don't know if this is going to be an Oscar release for you, but it should be. You're like the young Angela Bassett to this shit. Chad Coleman that plays as her father. You did well too. The reason why I'm looking intimidated because where the hell you been at, nigga? I haven't seen you since The Walking Dead. You did well on this film. You did great. You reminded me of my father. You reminded me a lot of my dad, and that's actually scary. Well done, man. Well done. You was there for her. You stood out for her. You made sure that no one was fucking with her like that. You made sure that her dream was never tarnished because deep down, you saw your angle of how you lived your life. You made sure that she had a better way and a more chance of her to do things that you failed to do. That's how parents are. Well, that's how parents should be to their children. Instead of you pushing away their dream, encourage them. You did well, my man. But what made that bond strong is when shit got crazy. When we begin to see the chemistry of these two characters strive and talk about their emotions, especially when they was having some certain type of toxicity towards their characters, especially the father by him being a drug abuser and a drug addict, begin to feel an emotional weight towards both of these characters. But things begin to get crazy as she begins to take life into her own hands by her creating this big, diabolical Frankenstein monster. So they did good with the levitativity of us being entertained, being on the edge of our seat, and just hoping that these people make it out alive. Overall, this is a great film. This is a movie that caught me off guard, and I'm glad I caught an eye to it. This is a movie that is a must-watch if you like horror, survival, thriller, or just movies that would just put you in the eyes of a character that you can create, that you can relate to? And if you lost a loved one, would you try to bring that loved one back? If Flash disappointed you of that aspect, hopefully this would not. I'm gonna have to give the angry black girl and her monster an A+. Movies like this, I'm glad I came across too. Normally back then when I watched movies like this, it's like I watched it, I'm not gonna talk about it. But I feel as if I have to, because a lot of critics and a lot of reviewers don't even give movies like this a chance to put on their freaking channel. So I have to be in my creative state, and I have to be at my supportive level of me expressing this to you guys. You're a fan of my channel, you're a fan of my material, you love the energy I push out, please check out this film whenever you get a chance. Well, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for my upcoming reviews and videos that lead your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. You guys have a good day.